So with this video, I thought that I would talk about trading earnings. That's of course when you say, hey, this stock is about to report its earnings. I think I'll trade it. Now in the years that I've watched or interacted with stocks as they report their earnings, there's a few things I've learned and noticed that I think is worth mentioning. First of all, it is possible to do this, but it's not always the best idea because, for one reason, you're making a lot of assumptions. Like if you think the earnings will be good and that will cause the share price to rally, well, that's two assumptions. Just like if you think the earnings will be bad and that will cause the share price to dip, that's also two assumptions. Really, there's a lot of market variables that can apply. For example, is it a good market, a bear or bull market, or a good or bad economy? AMD once had great earnings, ran pretty nice, and then it fizzled right out. But later, it had similarly good earnings, ran a lot, and kept its highs. There's also sentiment to consider, like how much hype is involved, and also, with Palantir, it had a hard time getting started because of bad media coverage, I recall for another example. Now, NIO had earnings recently. It started to build up really great right before the earnings, and then it tanked after the earnings, although they weren't great. But then it kind of just recovered again afterwards anyway, likely because of how people feel about it or the market. Also, Hive had earnings recently. It was kind of tanking before the earnings, and then the earnings were pretty good and it rallied, but then it just cooled right back off anyway. Again, probably because of the overall market condition. So then how would you safely trade earnings? Well, first of all, if you like the stock and want to hold it anyway, then just hodl it, and whether it rallies or dips, you can either sell or buy more or just keep holding. There's also hype. For example, when NIO ran a lot before the earnings, you could have sold then. Also, there's other approaches you can consider, like some of my other videos mention buying a call and a put in a special way, as just one of many examples. But anyway, with that said, I just wanted to cover the topic. It's something to consider to be safe about. And with that said, have a good one.